All right, today we're headed to a place that's just, well, it's mind-blowing. It's a land of incredible contrasts and truly epic scale. We're talking about the Kutch District in Gujarat, India. This place is part shimmering salt desert and part thriving cultural hub. So let's dive in and figure out what makes this region so special.
Okay, let me start with a little brain teaser for you. What do you think is bigger than the entire country of Estonia, but isn't a country itself? I know, it sounds kind of impossible, right? But the answer is very, very real. And yep, you guessed it, that's where we're going today.
And the answer is Kutch. We're not talking about a state or even a province here. This is a single district, and it's the biggest one in all of India. Honestly, just getting your head around that massive scale is the first step to really getting what makes this place so incredible.
So, you hear that number, 45,674 square kilometers. It's huge, but what does it actually mean? Let's try to put that into perspective so we can really wrap our heads around it.
So remember that riddle? Kutch isn't just a little bigger than Estonia, it's actually bigger. The entire country of Estonia could fit inside this one Indian district. Just let that sink in for a second. An entire country. You can just imagine the challenges and the opportunities that come with managing an area that massive.
And hey, to bring it a little closer to home for anyone familiar with India's geography, Kutch is also bigger than the entire state of Haryana. It's a wild reminder that, labels like district can be pretty misleading. We're really talking about a district that operates on the scale of a state, maybe even a small country. And that, of course, changes everything for its culture, its economy, how it's even run.
But look, Kutch is more than just a big piece of land. Its identity is really shaped by its geography, which is just incredible. And the coolest part, the secret to understanding this place is actually hidden right in its name.
So the name Kutch, it literally means something that gets wet and then dries out again and again. It's not just some poetic, fancy name. Nope, it is the most perfect literal description of the natural cycle that defines this entire region and everything that calls it home.
The whole landscape is shaped by this relentless rhythm. Picture this. It's a huge, shallow wetland that gets completely flooded during the monsoon. And then, when the other seasons roll in, it gets baked totally dry. This constant, dramatic change, that is the very heart of Kutch.
Okay, so let's get our bearings. Geographically, this place is all about boundaries. To the south and west, you've got the Gulf of Kutch and the Arabian Sea. But up north and to the east, that's where you find its most famous feature, the Great and Little Rann. These are just these enormous seasonal salt marshes. And on top of all that, it's strategically super important because it's right there on the border with Pakistan.
So let's zoom in on that most famous part, the Great Rann of Kutch, because the transformation it goes through every single year is, well, it's nothing short of magical.
So here's how it works. First, the monsoon rains come crashing in, and this huge flat land just disappears under shallow water. Then the seasons shift, the intense heat kicks in, and all that water just evaporates. And what's left behind? These immense, marshy salt flats.
And the result of all that? Wow. It's honestly one of the most surreal landscapes you'll ever see. It's this endless expanse of pure white salt, all cracked and shimmering under the sun. It really looks like a snow-covered desert, right in the middle of India. It's just unbelievable.
But wait, it's not all salt. In a really beautiful contrast to that white desert, there's this outer belt of what's called the Banni grasslands. They surround the Rann. And these aren't just any grasslands. They're super important wetlands that support this incredibly rich ecosystem. It's like this explosion of life right next door to the stark, empty salt flats.
So you've got this land of insane scale and dramatic changes. Who actually lives here? Who calls this place home? Let's talk about the people of Kutch and the stuff, the infrastructure, that actually makes life possible in a place this extreme.
Well, this district is home to the Kutchi people. They're a community with a really rich history and their very own language, which is also called Kutchi. According to the 2011 census, there are just over 2 million people who have figured out how to live and thrive in this incredible and, let's be honest, often really harsh environment. And when you look at where they live, a big majority, we're talking 70%, live in rural areas. They have this really deep historic connection to the land. The other 30%, they're in the district's urban centers, where you see this cool blend of tradition and modern life. Now, you'd think a place this rugged would be super remote, right? But actually, Kutch is surprisingly well connected. It's got solid road and rail networks, and get this, not one, not two, but 4 airports.
Plus, because of its strategic spot on the border, it's also home to both Army and Air Force bases.
All right, to wrap things up, let's do a quick-fire round. Kutch by the numbers. Let's see how a district this massive is actually managed.
So, to manage this huge area, the district is broken down into 10 smaller units called talukas. Within those, you've got over 900 villages, all served by 6 municipalities. It's this whole complex web that's totally necessary to govern a place this unique.
And hey, here's a little fun fact for you, something that makes it all feel super local. If you're ever in Gujarat and you see a license plate that starts with GJ12, now you'll know. That car is from the great district of Kutch.
So, let's recap. We've got a district that's bigger than a whole country in Europe. A landscape that literally transforms from a wetland into a white desert every single year. And a culture that's tough and vibrant, thriving in a land of total extremes. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? In a place with this kind of epic scale and wild beauty, what other secrets is this salt desert hiding?